Hey everybody, welcome to Intelligent Image, your small pocket of sanity in an otherwise chaotic universe. You clicked this video wondering how to get the best results with Pony Diffusion, and I'm glad you did because this just might be the best time you've ever had in your entire life. Because today I'm going to be sharing with you the technique I've developed over the last year for creating and refining the best images. So if you're ready to join me on this journey to take your Pony Diffusion experience up to levels so high it might even catch the attention of the FBI, all you have to do is keep watching. For my checkpoints, I'm going to be using two different merge models I've made based on Pony Diffusion. One is more anime and one is more photoreal, and I've tried to design them to work synergistically together. I'm going to make both of these models available for download once everything is finalized. I go into more detail about Pony Diffusion in my previous video, but for setting it up here in Krita, I always use these settings. I leave the settings with the VAE set to SDXL_VAE, clip skip set to 2. Pony Diffusion relies on quality scores to generate quality images, and in general you will need to enter this string of text scores 4 through 9 in all of your prompts to get the best images. I put the scores and other tags here in the style prompt, and this will automatically add them to all of the prompts, so you won't have to add them every time. Some models will tell you to break up the score prompt and put scores 9 through 7 in the positive prompts and 6 through 4 in the negative prompt, but I haven't found that makes much difference, if any. It's worth noting that the less of the original Pony model is left in a merge model, so the more regular SDXL models that are mixed with it, the less effect these scores are going to have. So with the models I'm using, they have very little effect. For the sampler, I'm just going to leave it at Euler A, but it might be worth playing around with different samplers. Steps between 25 and 30, and CFG scale around 6. For the live mode with Pony models, I found the LCM sampler works best, but it doesn't work well. You'll need to take the image you generate in the live mode and refine it in the generate mode. I talked more about that in my video on regional prompting. I've started with separate regions for the character and background. I've used an open pose control net, making sure it aligns with my regions, which I found worked well. It wasn't working until I put sitting in my prompt for the pose, so make sure that your prompt matches your control net. You can add a control net to just one specific region of your image by selecting that region the same way you would if you're going to type a prompt and adding a control net the way you normally would. A tiny control net icon will appear next to the region. It took me a while to notice this. After going back and forth tweaking the prompt and creating over 100 versions of this, I've chosen this one that I like the best. I usually don't share my prompts, not because they're super secret, but I feel like I'm not the best at prompting, and also it's kind of embarrassing what I have to put in to get something like this. The first thing I've done is add this red part to her top by selecting the skin tone and using the HSV adjustment filter. I was kind of worried that YouTube wouldn't want such a volatish image in the thumbnail. I also think it ties her outfit together. I don't know. I'll edit this out, you'll never know. I'm making any major changes before I upscale and refine the image. I'm moving the moon to where it's not right in the center of the window. I'm doing that by making a rough selection, copying the moon and adding black, and using a transparency mask to edit out the parts I don't want. I can afford to be rough with my selection and painting at this point because the AI is going to refine it later. It looks to me like her left leg is out of perspective with the rest of her body, so I'm drawing in some guidelines to figure out where her hips are supposed to be and see if that leg makes sense. It looks like her leg did come out too far, so I've taken that part off, and I've also painted out part of her boot, or whatever this is, that was inconsistent with the other. I've upscaled my image to 1377 by 1836, which is a pretty high resolution. I'm going to refine the rough image 4 different times at 4 different denoising strengths. 40, 45, 50, and 55%. Each one will change the image to a greater or lesser degree, and I'm not counting on any of them being exactly what I want. I'm going to start with the refinement pass I think looks the best. Because I set this up with regions earlier, if I clicked apply on the image I want to use within the Docker, it would break it down into separate region layers. Since I want to keep everything on one layer for easy editing, I'm going to take the preview layer and drag it down. This will automatically copy it and give me my entire image on one layer. Just make sure you unlock the new layer so that you can edit it. I'm going to repeat this with another image that was refined at a different strength. There are just a few parts of the new image that I think are better than the other one, so I want to be able to make it so that I can use just those parts. To do this, I'm adding a transparency mask, filling it with black, which hides the entire layer, And now, anywhere I paint with white on the transparency mask, it will show through, and this way I can paint in only the parts of the image that I want to use. And I'm just using a soft airbrush for this to make them blend in easily. You can hide the layer and or the transparency mask to compare your changes. At this point, I noticed one of her boots was longer than the other, so I'm correcting that. I've created my merged models with the idea that I wanted to be able to create anime-style images with realistic skin textures and other photoreal elements. This is a style I've been trying to achieve for a long time. It appeals to me in particular because probably, you know what, let's not even analyze it. In any case, I'm starting this image with the realistic checkpoint, and I'm going to be switching to the anime model because SDXL has a hard time going from anime to photorealism, a problem that the 1.5 models didn't have, oddly. Anyway, because I want realistic skin texture on her body for whatever reason, I'm going to upscale just her body. To do that, I'm going to Layer and New Layer from Visible. This will give me everything on one layer so that I can select it and scale it up. I'm right-clicking on the scaled up layer and clicking Select Opaque Replace to select it, and now when I click Refine at a low strength, only the scaled up layer will be refined. I'm adding this upscaled refinement as a new layer and lowering the opacity so that I can see where it belongs when I scale it back down and line it up. And I'm using a transparency mask to clean up the edges. On a side note, anime characters tend to have specular highlights on their skin. When you render skin photorealistically, it looks dull by comparison. If you put shiny skin in the prompt, it will create these specular highlights which help accentuate the form, so that's a life hack for you. I'm going to repeat the process for her feet and hands. I know that Stable Diffusion tends to over-detail feet, so it takes quite a bit of manual refinement to get something more incarnadine. Speaking of which, I want to have a place to post additional content, and as people were concerned for my general well-being when I posted on X, I've decided to start a Patreon page where I'll be posting additional content related to my YouTube videos, as well as tips and tricks and other resources, so you can just subscribe there for continuous updates. I've known this hand was going to be a lost cause from the beginning, so I'm just painting it in. I tried to refine the painting with AI, but at anything but a very low denoising strength, it completely lost the form, which made refining it pretty pointless. Unfortunately, there's no good way to have the AI completely correct hands reliably, and I don't even think it's possible with the current technology or any future iterations of the current technology. I think we just need to build something new from the ground up, so it's worth developing painting and drawing abilities even if you want to use AI. Next, I'm upscaling the face. For this, I'm switching to my anime style model. When you refine a section of an image, it still takes into account the larger context, which can cause problems at a higher denoising strength. One way around this is to temporarily crop the image. Keep in mind that each new AI generation will use up an undo option, so you may want to save before you crop in case you get to a point where you can't undo the crop anymore. The AI had some trouble with the perspective of her face, so I'm using the liquefy feature of the transform tool to keep her from having a lino chin. I realize this process is very GPU intensive. I use a cloud GPU through Run Diffusion so I can create many high resolution generations quickly. I realize that with a slower GPU there will be limits to the number of generations you're willing to wait on, and I wish I had a more reliable method than this scattershot approach. You could use this approach with far fewer generations, however. You could just have 2 upscaled versions and then detailing on the face. The last thing I'm doing is adding the finishing touches I put on every image. It's sort of my secret sauce to give the look I like. It's mostly hue and saturation adjustments with some smoke textures that I feel like I'm overusing at this point. I could make a whole video just on the finishing steps to an image. In fact, I might. And as you are watching this, you may have wished you knew more about all of the tools and features available in Krita. Luckily, I have a video about all of those, so maybe watch that next.
I'll reveal the truth like a blade. From doubts I'll find relief. Reset the gates, try to bridge my mental state.